What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Stats Free Sports channel. Here to bring you my Super Bowl 59 prediction. Doing a little late this year. I know, got a little busy, but time to put it out before the season actually starts. And let's get into it. As you see by the thumbnail, no hiding it, no clickbait. I have the Green Bay Packers led by Jordan Love facing the Houston Texans led by sophomore quarterback, second-year quarterback C.J. Stroud. Let's get into why. I have a couple of key points for both teams. Now let's talk about my past predictions. So last year, a little off the wall, a little funky with it, but I still love it, and I gave you the same style of video, gave you key points, gave you reasons why, and I felt good about it. Last year was the Cleveland Browns versus the Seahawks. And if you follow the channel and been watching the channel for the last couple of years, I've been on the Browns heavy. Watch this year the Browns make it. But last year, Seahawks versus Browns, gave my reasons why. And to me, the reasons kind of panned out. It just didn't work out all the way. Deshaun Watson he didn't come to form. But I did call for the Browns last year to have one of the best defenses in the NFL, and they were just that. Deshaun Watson ended up getting hurt, and Flacco had a terrible playoff game. But heading into that Texans matchup, it wasn't expected to be a blowout, at which it happened. So back-to-back turnovers, I believe, by Flacco. I think one pick six maybe, but back-to-back turnovers kind of ruined that Browns run. Nick Chubb got hurt early in the season as well, but the Browns played well, and they got to the playoffs. The Seahawks, on the other hand, didn't play well. Geno kind of struggled, but that's the past. The year before that, 2 years ago, I had the Browns versus Cowboys. I said I've been Browns heavy, but this year I'm looking to be right. At least get one team in the mix. And that's, like I said, Packers versus Texans. Let's start with the Packers first. I think the most intriguing team, in my opinion, the NFC is a pretty touted situation to be in. A bunch of teams that can get there. Let's run through a couple of them. Packers, as I said, who are my favorites. Cowboys, who are a dark horse this year, but I still think have the potential to make it happen. No Dan Quinn. So it will be a little different on defense, but Bland is back. Diggs is back healthy. Parsons obviously still there. CD not quite there now. Needs to get paid to return. But, you never know what may happen. But the Cowboys are still talented. Philadelphia Eagles, Detroit Lions. Some have the Bears as a sleeper team. I don't have them being that good this year. I think they'll be good. But, I don't think Williams go on a C.J. Stroud run this year. So those are the main teams. Leaving a couple teams out, the Rams could be in the mix as well. But to me, the cream of the crop, Eagles, Cowboys, Lions, and Packers are really. And my Falcons, we got to see. The additions of Justin Simmons and Matthew Judon, if they stay healthy. If we all stay healthy, my Falcons could be in that mix, but we'll definitely have to see about that. But three main reasons why the Packers over everyone else. Let's start with the main thing. I'll leave that for last. I'll say that for last. Let's start with the Packers youth. They have a very, very young team. I think they set the NFL record last year for the youngest team making the NFL playoffs. The average team age is 25, and they still got younger. They brought in more guys. They brought in key free agents and Josh Jacobs, the star running back now, who was young. They swapped him out for Aaron. They swapped Aaron Jones out for Josh Jacobs, who is younger and could be better. That's waiting to see on that on the outcome of the result. The outcome of the trade. But Josh Jacobs could be better than Aaron Jones. Could be more durable also. So more often on the field than Aaron Jones. Then you have Xavier McKinney, a move I got right this offseason. Free agency move I got right. Prediction video. That to me was a key piece. That safety last year wasn't great. Owens and I forgot the other one out there, but Adam McKinney and then the draft pieces as well. They drafted like 2 or 3 safeties. All those guys they can all be versatile. Play deep, play in the box, play the slot. So McKinney's a star, super young, super good still. They paid him a lot of money to be good, and I think he'll bring the boom in the box, and he'll bring his good coverage skills as well. Very versatile weapon. So I think that youth will definitely play a role. And also on offense, you have guys coming to their own, third year, fourth year guys, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, Wicks, Reed, the list goes on, all those young receivers. And also Jordan Love, he's been in the league for a little bit now, but he's only his second year starting full time. And the second half of last season, he was on fire. I did multiple videos on the Packers last year, one at the halfway mark, and then one towards the end of the season. And the Packers were a serious threat, very serious threat to get to the playoff, or get Super Bowl last year. So I think they get it done this year with their youth. Also going to a major coaching change, and that's swapping out Joe Barry, who's now gone from the Packers DC job, and they brought in Jeff Haley. Great move. Jeff Haley's scheme to me fits better than what Joe Barry's did, as far as the scheme and all that stuff. Barry likes to have more more zone coverage. Haley likes the man-on-man coverage, and he's more of a specialist in that field. He came from Boston College, and his main thing is having man-on-man coverage and establishing physicality at the line of scrimmage, and they'll do just that with the guys there. Jay Alexander as a star cornerback. Hopefully he brings his A game this year and be consistent. Had an okay year last year, good, not great. Hopefully he stays healthy, brings his A game this year. Like I said, you have McKinney's and those other young safeties that they drafted and brought in as well. You have a list of cornerback twos. You have Stokes, you have Valentine, all the other guys as well that's in the mix, cornerback 2, 3s. So, they have a good DB room now, good, strong, solid DB room, and their front seven is very good as well, And back to the youth part, going back to that part as well, their oldest player is Preston Smith at 30 years old. Everyone else is 28 or younger. So, they definitely have some good young guys. They just mentioned that as well, the age-wise. Jordan Love is 25, Josh Jacobs 26, McKinney's 24. So the old man on the team, as far as the big-name players, that is Preston Smith, the pass rusher. So other than that, the team is fairly young everywhere else. So now, as I said, the addition of Jeff Haley along with the youth. Then the main thing, I wasn't say this first, but let's say for last, and that's here, Jordan Love. Jordan Love is gonna be a top 10 quarterback, most likely, maybe even higher. But the floor for Jordan Love is a top 10 quarterback, and the ceiling, I say top 3, top 5. I think he's that good. He definitely looks like an Aaron Rodgers clone. And, for the pros and cons, the good and bad of Aaron Rodgers. And Rodgers in his prime he was a monster, as we all know. If you're around my age, you know what Rodgers was in his prime back in the days, 09, 10, and plus, all those years. Up until a couple years ago, we saw Rodgers at his best. And I think we get Love going on his second year starting. I think, and after a big contract extension as well, I think it's going to be a monster. Him with the youthfulness of his team, of his receivers, Romeo Doubs coming to true number 1. Christian Watkins hopefully staying healthy. Wicks, Reed, all the weapons he has. The young tight end, I forgot his name now, that played well last year. They have a good team, plus A.J. Dillon return with Josh Jacobs now. Duo. They have a good third-string running back as well, Marshawn Lloyd. They got a squad. They have a squad. The line is good. The front seven is good on defense. They have everything that you want. They have a complete team with a superstar, young, star-studded quarterback that can make any throw in the world, that has great footwork. And last year, he was hot as fish grease to end the season. I think he starts on this year, and he could be in the MVP race. He definitely could be there. So I have the Packers. Those are 3 main reasons why I have them. Now, going on, a good segue to the Texans. Quarterback, C.J. Stroud. Going into year 2, the sophomore slump could be real. That's fine. That could happen. But I still think, even if it does happen a little bit, his numbers, or even not even numbers, just his look, his film isn't as good as it once was last year. That's fine. I think the team around him is very, very good. Offense is very, very good. But Stroud should, base level Stroud, forget about superstar level. He was debatable top 5 QB last year. Even if he's top 10 to top 12, that's all you need. So if Stroud does hit a little sophomore slump, I think the running game, which we'll get into next, but just Stroud in general, Stroud should be enough to make the job easy for his team. The threat of Stroud's arm, his accuracy, his IQ, the threat alone should make teams be honest. And, you have weapons, like I said, and all that stuff comes into the next point. But Stroud himself is a dangerous, dangerous man. As I said, played like a top 5 QB last year as a true rookie. Not like Love, rookie year starting, but, he's a third, fourth year guy. True rookie coming in, played very, very well, looked like a pro from dang near day one. I do expect a little drop off, but nothing major from C.J. Stroud. Now, going off Stroud, going to their veteran additions. As I said, the Joe Mixons, Stephon Diggs, Danielle Hunter, the list goes on. Mario Edwards, Derek Barnett, Fadasaki, the D-tackle, Tim Settle, Azeez Al-Shire, Ben Skronsky, the receiver from forgot where he's from. They had a trade to get Skronsky. They have pieces, veteran pieces who know how to play ball, who are very good at what they do, and also in key spots. They needed a receiver like Diggs to complement Collins and to complement Tank Dell. They needed Danielle Hunter to go with their young pass rusher Will Anderson. They needed a new running back one because Singletary left to the Giants. So they now have Joe Mixon, who is now gone from the Bengals. Plus, they still have my boy Damian Pierce, who I like a lot. They have Mario Edwards to beef up that front line, along with Derek Barnett, along with Fatukasi, and also Tim Settle as well. Then they have Azeez Al-Shire, one of the more underrated linebackers the last couple years, formerly of the Niners and the Titans. He was with DeMeco Ryans with the Niners years ago, and it was a shoe-in, great fit for the defensive scheme. So everybody they brought in that's noteworthy, that's name-worthy, they fit a need for this team. They just weren't brought in for a luxury piece. They fit for this team. Now, going to the Stephon Diggs part. Diggs, even if he doesn't pan out to be a star like he was a couple years ago with the Bills, he's more of a headache than not with the Texans. They still have enough without Diggs. Let's say Diggs gets suspended or is benched or just not playing well. He's invisible on the field. You still have a young guy in John Mechie. You still have Tank Dell, who hopefully be healthy and looks good in preseason. Hopefully you have Nico Collins healthy. So those three guys alone, plus a tight end, what's my man name? Forgot his name right now, but he re-signed from last year. You have a squad. The offense will be fine without Diggs in case Diggs doesn't work out. The offense will be just fine. And you have Ben Skronsky, who I like a lot. As probably the fourth, fifth guy, and I think Robert Woods will probably be cut or traded, but most likely cut. But those are your 5 guys: Collins, Dale, Diggs, Skronsky, Mechie, and probably one more guy. I think Woods might be gone. So, that's a heck of a receiving core. So you don't really Diggs, as I said earlier, none of these guys are luxury pieces. If anyone is, it might be Stephon Diggs. They don't really need him per se. It's good to have him, but they don't really need him. So I think that could be the difference. I think the main reason why the Texans lost last year to the Ravens, because their front 7 on defense got punished. So that's why you brought in the big meaty guys and Mario Edwards, Barnett, Fatukasi, Settle, and so on and so on. So those were the important pieces there. Azeez Al-Shire at linebacker. Those were important. Plus the pass rush and run stopping ability of Danielle Hunter opposite Will Anderson Jr. So, that's everything they did panned out, and it went to a need, not just a luxury piece. Like I said, a luxury piece might be Stephon Diggs, and that's a great luxury piece to have if he does work out. If he doesn't, oh well, just move on, or just keep him on the sideline or trade him mid-season. So I think they'll be fine there for Stephon Diggs. Whether he pans out or not, the Texans should be fine without him, as long as barring injury. Then you have the last thing, very underrated thing I don't see no one talking about, which is the coaching. Excuse me, I said that all weird. Coaches entering year 2. DeMeco Ryans, heck of a first year. I think he won head coach of the year. If he didn't, he definitely should have. But the main thing as well, Bobby Slowick. He returned. And if you follow my channel, I was on Bobby Slowick heavy for my Falcons head coaching job. I either wanted Bobby Slowick or I wanted I wanted Ben Johnson from the Lions. Those are my two guys I wanted in the worst way. I wanted a young offensive mind, and Bobby Slowick was my second option. So to see Bobby Slowick return to Houston for one more year, probably, I love it. And he had a heck of a year last year. One of the best OCs last year. Very creative. Very good offense. I enjoyed it a lot. I talked about him extensively in my video talking about the Falcons' future plan after they fired Arthur Smith and before they hired Raheem Morris. As I said, I really wanted Ben Johnson or I wanted Bobby Slowick, and I mentioned him a lot in that video. So, I think very highly of both of those guys, the head coach, DeMeco Ryans and Bobby Slowick. So, coaching going on year 2, knowing where they failed at last year, and I noticed that they know what they failed at because they brought in the guys to fix those issues. They did just what they're supposed to do. They saw what they failed at. They addressed them right away. They didn't play no games. They got top-shelf rotational guys. They got top-shelf big-name guys, and they have in-between guys as well. So they did it all. Like I said, Mixon helps with the run game. He's better than Singletary. You have Diggs, who's a very good addition on paper to this Texans team, but not needed. Then you have Danielle Hunter, who is very needed as a pass rusher for this Texans team, paired with Will Anderson Jr. Then you have, like I said, up front, all the beef: Tim Settle, Fadakasi, Barnett, Mario Edwards. So those 3 reasons to me. C.J. Stroud, star quarterback. Like I said, if he's not playing top 5 like he did last year, at least be top 10, top 12. Texans should be fine. The veteran additions they added, and then the coaches, mainly DeMeco Ryans, Bobby Slowick, are the 2 standout coaches that are returning back last year, and I think they'll be even better than they were last year, or at least the same. And if they're the same, that means they're one of the best duos, best head coach / OCs in the whole NFL community. They're one of the better ones last year. If they come back and stand pat at his IQ and play style and everything, and no changes, they still should be one of the better ones. So they'll be fine there for the Texans. And like I said, the Packers, going back to them, their youthfulness, Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, McKinney, the list goes on. Everyone's so young. Everyone's getting to their primes now. Everyone just now getting into their bag. Romeo Dobbs, Watkins, all those guys. Watson, Christian Watson. And then you have the hiring of new DC Jeff Hafley from Boston College. Man-on-man specialist. That's his scheme. Jair, Stokes, all those guys, plus McKinney and all those guys in the slot or in the box or whatever deep. They're gonna be a team to be reckoned with. The main thing is the main thing. Stay healthy, stay available, and I think both teams could definitely meet each other, or at least one. I think at least one will get there, but I definitely, in my opinion, I see both teams getting there right now. The Chiefs, it's tough to repeat. It's tough to repeat one. They already did that. But it's tough to repeat. I know they look good on paper, but their defense to me is the biggest question mark. They got to show me. They have to show me. No more Snead, who was locked down last year. Who will be cornerback 1? I know it won't be Trent McDuffie. They have some names in mind, but I know it won't be Trent McDuffie. He's going to stay in slot. So it's like, they have some good players. They have Justin Reed still back there. They can come down and play slot as well. But, they need to have a cornerback one that can, replicate close to what Snead did, and that's tough to do. So, the pass rush is is okay. It's not great. They lost some guys last year as well via the offseason. So we'll see what happens. But the Chiefs are a threat. The Ravens are a threat, obviously. The Jags, and so on. But I really believe that the Texans will outlast a bunch of those teams, all those teams, when it's all said and done, simply because their run defense should have gotten better. On paper, it looks a lot better. And then you still have Stroud with a healthy, full arsenal of weapons. Diggs, Tank Dell, Mechie, Collins, the tight end, Dalton Schultz, that's his name, Dalton Schultz. You're going to have a full arsenal. No, knock on wood, everyone's healthy. You're going to have a full arsenal that's tough to stop. Who's going to guard all those guys? Who's going to stop Nico Collins, who was on a tear last year, or one-on-one? Who's going to guard Mechie, who's a speedster, who was slept on because his health last couple years? Who's going to stop Diggs one-on-one? Who's going to stop Tank Dell one-on-one? Who's going to stop Schultz one-on-one? Who's a matchup nightmare sometimes, depending on who the matchup is. Like, who's going to stop Mixon out of the backfield, out the catching and running? It's going to be tough. And then, can your O-line withstand the attack of Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter? Question mark. Big question mark for a lot of offensive lines. So, those things will have the answer. And I just think Stroud having great QB play, plus his head coaches having high IQs and being as good as they are, they'll get the job done. Same with the Packers. Matt LaFleur, new DC Jeff Hafley, the youth, guys entering their second, third year, get into their bag, get into their prime. I definitely think these two teams will stay my favorites throughout the entire season. And I think, I really hope that at least one team gets there. If the Texans Falcons happen, I would love it. I'm a Falcons fan, but as of right now, I don't have us getting that far. But it is possible. If one team does miss it, I hope it's the Packers and our Falcons replace that team. But you never know. You never know. Things get crazy. Things happen. But I think as of right now, for me, honestly, I think those two teams will be the best team by the time it's all said and done. But that's it for the video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys next time.